up on Network Africa. Police in Uganda detain lawmaker and ally of main political challenger Bobi Wine over electoral-related violence. Speaking of the main political challenger, Bobi Wine remains in hiding as police continue search for him. And the World Food Programme warns more than 1 million people in northern Nigeria at risk of being cut off from emergency food and nutrition assistance. Welcome again, everyone. I'm Joke Rogers here in Lagos. We begin in Uganda, where police have arrested Mwanga Kivumbi, a deputy leader in political main challenger Bobi Wine's National Unity Platform. Mr. Kivumbi is accused of organizing attacks on a police station and a vote tallying center after the electoral loss, which the party denies. According to the police, about 7 people were killed in the incident. The politicians placed the number at 10. Earlier today, the police said on their X handle that Mr. Kivumbi would be arraigned before a court in due course. Mr. Kivumbi's arrest follows tensions after last week's elections, in which President Yoweri Museveni was re-elected for a 7th term. Meanwhile, the police are still looking for Mr. Bobi Wine, President Yoweri Museveni's main challenger. In last week's presidential polls, he has been talking to international media about his plight and about the future of his party. The president's son, who serves as Uganda's army chief, Muzi Kainerugaba, has threatened to hunt down Mr. Wine and kill him. Mr. Wine has responded, saying that he is not a criminal and just a presidential candidate, and it's not a crime to run against his father. Mr. Museveni has called the opposition terrorists and accused them of using or trying to use violence to overturn the election. Last week's vote was marred by violence and an internet shutdown. African election observers said arrests and abductions had instilled fear in the people. Military authorities in coup-prone Guinea Bissau have scheduled presidential and legislative elections for December 6, despite calls for a swifter transition to civilian rule. Transitional President Horta Ntam signed a decree on Wednesday after meeting members of the National Transitional Council, military and government officials, as well as representatives of the Electoral Commission. He told reporters that the conditions for free and fair elections had been met since seizing power from President Umaro Sissoco Embalo in November. Guinea-Bissau's coup leaders have been under pressure from the West African regional body ECOWAS to organize elections within a short transitional time frame. The regional bloc had previously rejected the junta's notion of a one-year timeline, suspended the country from its decision-making bodies, and threatened further sanctions. It remains unclear how ECOWAS will react to the election timetable now that it has been formally announced by the junta. And security forces in Burkina Faso say at least 11 officers were killed in a weekend attack by jihadists in the country's eastern part. The West African country has been fighting a wave of attacks by armed groups linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State since 2015. A security source told international media that several hundred jihadists attacked a detachment in Balga in the Gourma province of the country's east region. The attack was claimed the same day by the Al-Qaeda-affiliated group for the support of Islam and Muslims. Another security source confirmed the attack, mentioning casualties and people missing without providing further details. And children's charity Save the Children says more than 8 million children in Sudan have been bereft of education for the past 500 days. The country has been at war for almost 3 years, in fact since April 2023, by a power struggle between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces. The NGO says many schools are closed, others have been damaged by the conflict or are being used as shelters for the more than 7 million displaced people across the country. North Darfur in western Sudan is the country's hardest hit state. Only 3% of its more than 1,100 schools are still functioning. Nigeria is deepening economic ties with the Middle East as new financing commitments and trade cooperation agreements signal a shift in the country's global investment strategy. Attention is increasingly turning to the Middle East as a new economic partner. The recent comprehensive economic partnership agreements with the United Arab Emirates has stepped up engagement with the Gulf states, securing financing support from Abu Dhabi and signing fresh trade cooperation agreements through the Ministry of Trade and Investment. For Africa's largest economy, analysts believe these moves come at a critical time as traditional partners tighten financing and competition for global capital intensifies. Supporters argue that Middle Eastern investors bring not just funding but experience in infrastructure, energy, and large-scale development. Critics, however, warn that Africa has seen similar promises before, with many agreements failing to translate into tangible benefits for ordinary people. And here in Nigeria, the governor of Kaduna State in Northwest has visited Kurumin Wali community in Kajuru local government area of the state following the recent abduction by bandits in the area. Governor Ubasani assured the people of speedy and safe return of the victims, vowing that the abduction will not deter him from sustaining the prevailing peace and security that his administration has achieved. The governor's visit comes amid rising concerns over insecurity in the northern region as affected residents recount harrowing experiences during the attack.
A somber atmosphere at Kurminwali community in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State as residents struggle to come to terms with the trauma left behind by last Sunday's abduction. Gunmen believed to be bandits stormed the community in the morning, whisking away over 100 residents during a church service.
We are in the church around 9 o'clock. Fulani people come around the church. After around the church, they enter the church. They ask us to lie down. They scatter the church, collect our handset, collect our money. After that, they send out from the church. Already they send out, go towards that church. Before you go there, they have removed the people of the other church. They are lying down.
There were initial conflicting reports between the security agencies and the locals over the incident. Governor Ubasani visits the community following the confirmation of the incident. He is in the community to assess the situation firsthand and to commiserate with affected families. The governor meets with religious and community leaders, assuring them of the government's commitment to ensure the immediate rescue of those in captivity.
The DSS, the police, and the Office of National Security Advisor to ensure the quick return and recovery of our people who were abducted in this very important community.
The governor also makes a case for a military formation in the area as he promises to provide social infrastructure for the area, including a hospital and access roads.
I made it clear to the Minister of Defense that it is important, and I urge him as a Minister of the Defense and someone from Kaduna State who know the terrain very well, to ensure that we have military command here, base, because that's the only way we can be able to protect the people of Kurumawali.
For the people, the visit gives them hope and confidence.
You have given directive to your Commissioner of Works. We cannot say we are placing request, but to continue to thank you.
The Kaduna state government plans to increase security presence and surveillance in the area and neighboring communities as residents await the safe return of their loved ones.
The United Nations World Food Programme has warned that more than 1 million people in northeast Nigeria risk being cut off from emergency food and nutrition assistance within weeks unless urgent new funding is received. As a result, and for the first time in Nigeria, the WFP's assistance will be limited to only 72,000 people. According to its report, Nigeria is facing one of the worst hunger crises in recent times. Nearly 35 million people are projected to experience acute and severe food insecurity during the 2026 lean season, according to the most recent CADA Harmonize, the equivalent of the Integrated Food Security Phase classification for West and Central Africa. Of these, an estimated 15,000 people in Borno State are at risk of catastrophic hunger, one step away from famine. It's the worst levels of hunger recorded in a decade. WFP has been providing food assistance in northeast Nigeria since 2015, reaching nearly 2 million women, men and children in hard-hit areas each year. Meanwhile, the United States Undersecretary of State Alison Hooker is on tour of Abuja, Nigeria, Muscat, Oman, Manama, Bahrain and Rome, Italy, from January 21 to 29. In Nigeria, the Undersecretary will serve as the head of the delegation for the U.S.-Nigeria Joint Working Group and will support the administration's efforts to protect Christian communities, counter terrorism, and expand U.S. investment opportunities. In Oman and Bahrain, the Undersecretary will lead 2 separate strategic dialogues and advance cooperation across a range of security, economic, and cultural interests. In Italy, the Undersecretary will engage with counterparts on the administration's global priorities, such as the Russia-Ukraine war, Venezuela, and peace in the Middle East. She will also meet with UN agencies in Rome, including the World Food Programme and the Food and Agriculture Organizations, to discuss accountability and oversight for U.S.-funded assistance, as well as creating new agricultural trade opportunities for American farmers. And still to come on the program. Midwives in the Democratic Republic of Congo are becoming the true heroes in the ongoing armed conflict in the country. Welcome back to the program. Aerial operations have continued to battle wildfires sweeping through the Franschhoek Valley in South Africa's Cape Winelands. The blaze broke out on Saturday and has since swept across much of the valley. Efforts to control the blaze have been hampered by strong wind gusts of up to 80 kilometers per hour. The Cape Winelands District's municipality's fire services said that multiple fire lines are still burning in the mountains above Franschhoek and have caused significant challenges for personnel under hazardous conditions. Wildfires spreading across the Cape Winelands over the past month have severely damaged vineyards, forced the closure of local trails and put residents on alert for possible evacuation if conditions worsen. Midwives are working carefully in the city of Goma in the Democratic Republic of Congo as they provide health care to pregnant women amidst the war. They've come to be the most welcome healthcare providers during the conflict.
They're just simple women with the knowledge and the heart to save lives in Goma. They may not be at the forefront, but they make their way to homes where pregnant women need their assistance. They are the midwives of Goma, women who have become a lifeline on wheels. Despite the war, they go from house to house in neighborhoods to reach patients, performing portable ultrasounds on their phones, and checking blood pressure and following up on postpartum maternal health. They say they started this approach by providing home visits because many women are giving birth at home and do not go to health centers due to lack of resources. The midwife team monitors pregnancies, identifies warning signs, educates families about the importance of supervised childbirth, and refer critical cases to operational healthcare facilities. Eastern DR Congo faces a collapse of healthcare services. With hospitals closed or half empty, unsafe home births are driving a deadly rise in hemorrhage, preeclampsia, and infections. Fighting has continued in the eastern region of the DRC, despite a ceasefire brokered by the United States and an economic deal between the two countries. The DRC accuses Rwanda of backing M23, a rebel group, but Kigali has repeatedly denied this.
About 30 kilometers south of the Central African Republic's capital, Bangui, environmentalist Zanre Ngobala Samba is turning banana trunk fibers into brown paper bags as part of a circular economy initiative aimed at recycling agricultural waste. Samba is seen extracting banana trunk fiber from the plant stems by putting them into a shredder. The fiber is then washed and soaked to be converted into pulp. The pulp is placed in wooden frames and dries to form sheets. Samba gets raw material from his own plantain cultivation spread over 5 hectares in the Dangala forest. In addition to marketing bananas, his initiative, Local Develop, has started making reusable bags from banana tree trunk fibers in his fight against plastic bags. Using its own funds, the agricultural cooperative helps reduce agricultural waste and prevents soil and environmental degradation, thereby mitigating the already serious deforestation problem. Stakeholders in CAR are investing in processing plantain, or in the CAR are investing in processing plantain waste with several promising circular economy initiatives aimed at recycling agricultural products and its byproducts.
Au niveau de la radio de l'ASPAD qu'on appelle banana sac. Notre ambition vraiment de se positionner comme un acteur clé qui apporte une solution à l'usage plastique en mettant sur le marché local les sacs bio faits à partir de ces troncs de bananes plantés.
And as we end the program, here are a few facts about the continent. Did you know that out of all the continents, Africa is the most centrally positioned? The Greenwich Meridian passes through the Atlas Mountains, cutting through the coast of West Africa near Accra in Ghana, while the equator also divides the continent into 2 equal parts, north and south. And now you know. That's a wrap on the program. Thank you for watching. I'm Joke Rogers.